The black tax, how excellence costs more for some than others. When I recently sat down with Garnett Johnson, I knew I was about to have a conversation that would fundamentally shift how I understand professional success. Garnett isn't just a visionary advocate for Black entrepreneurship and professional development. He's a truth revolutionary, someone who has dedicated his life to illuminating the invisible barriers that shape the Black professional experience while simultaneously building bridges strong enough to cross them. His work has transformed organizations across the country, creating pathways for authentic leadership that have elevated thousands of careers. But what makes Garnett truly extraordinary isn't just his accomplishments, it's his courage to speak uncomfortable truths that most people in positions of power would rather ignore. What he shared with me was both devastating and liberating. It's a perspective so powerful that I knew immediately it needed to reach beyond our conversation and into your consciousness. We celebrate Black excellence constantly in our culture, the barrier breakers, the first of their kinds, the against all odds success stories. We create inspirational memes and documentaries about resilience and determination. We applaud when someone becomes the first Black person to in any field. But here's what we don't talk about: the price tag attached to that excellence. This is what Garnett calls the black tax. And understanding it will revolutionize how you think about professional development, workplace culture, and what true inclusion actually requires. Imagine showing up to work every day carrying not just your laptop and your coffee, but the invisible weight of representing your entire race. Imagine monitoring every word that leaves your mouth, every gesture, every hairstyle choice, every reaction to a problematic comment, all to ensure you don't trigger stereotypes or make others uncomfortable. Imagine achieving remarkable success while simultaneously feeling that you can never, ever truly be yourself in the spaces where you succeed. This isn't hypothetical. This is reality for millions of Black professionals, and it is profoundly, devastatingly exhausting. According to a University of Washington study that Garnett shared with me, 62% of highly educated Black employees across STEM fields reported experiencing discrimination ranging from pay disparities to lack of managerial support. But here's what's particularly striking: the emotional consequences of this discrimination, including what researchers call hypervisibility without recognition, take a tremendous toll, not just on psychological well being, but on professional advancement itself. This emotional tax isn't just about feeling bad, it's about the concrete ways that constantly managing identity in predominantly white spaces drains energy that could otherwise be directed toward innovation, leadership, and growth. It's about the creative ideas never shared because you're too busy calculating how they'll be received coming from you. It's about the networking opportunities missed because those spaces feel unwelcoming or unsafe. It is about the leadership potential never fully realized because so much mental bandwidth is consumed by navigation rather than creation. We've been taught that code switching, adapting your communication style to fit dominant cultural norms, is necessary for success. We've been told that suppressing certain aspects of identity is simply the price of admission to professional spaces. We've accepted that navigating microaggressions is just part of the job. But what if this conventional wisdom is wrong? What if authenticity isn't the enemy of professional advancement, but actually its ally? This is the counterintuitive truth at the heart of Garnett's message. For many Black professionals and entrepreneurs, the greatest barrier to success isn't just external discrimination. It's also the emotional tax of constantly managing identity in predominantly white professional spaces. The data backs this up. Participants in the University of Washington study reported an improved sense of belonging when they were able, both individually and collectively, to advocate more openly against bias while maintaining authenticity at work. In other words, the suppression of identity that many believe is necessary for success actually undermines it in the long run. This isn't just about feeling good, it's about concrete outcomes. Let me tell you about the Network for Teaching Entrepreneurship. NFT recognized that many students from underrepresented backgrounds faced limited access to entrepreneurial education. 71% qualified for free or reduced price meals. But rather than asking these students to assimilate into existing structures, NFTE created new ones, integrating entrepreneurship training into schools, serving diverse communities while offering mentorship from business leaders who reflected their demographics. The results? Over 1.4 million learners reached since 1987, a 75% alumni career satisfaction rate, and 25% who have started or run businesses after graduation. By creating spaces where young people could bring their full selves to their entrepreneurial journeys, NFTE helped shift narratives around who can be an entrepreneur by elevating stories of success among students of color. This approach, prioritizing authenticity rather than assimilation, is gaining traction in the business world as well. According to an Ernst& Young survey of US-based entrepreneurs, including over 100 Black and Hispanic founders, businesses led by people of color faced disproportionate challenges during recent economic uncertainty due to historically smaller cash reserves. Yet, despite these headwinds, including higher unemployment rates among Blacks compared with national averages, 73% reported revenue increases through strategic pivots. How? By focusing on community within entrepreneurial networks and intentional strategy rather than fear driven retrenchment. These entrepreneurs prioritized employee retention strategies, contingency planning, and strengthening cash reserves as proactive responses to uncertainty. The lesson here isn't just about resilience, it's about the power of authentic leadership in the face of adversity. As Garnett emphasized in our conversation, resilience isn't just about survival, it's about using difficult experiences as fuel for innovation, leadership, and community empowerment. It's about recognizing that the very qualities that make you different, that you might be tempted to hide, can become your greatest strengths. This brings me to three key insights that emerged from my conversation with Garnett, insights that challenge conventional wisdom about success for Black professionals. First, authenticity is powerful. Embracing your full self at work, even when it's difficult, can be transformative for both personal well being and professional growth. Suppressing identity may provide short term comfort, but comes at a long term cost. Second, resilience is more than survival. True resilience isn't just about enduring hardship, it's about using those experiences as fuel for innovation, leadership, and community empowerment. And third, community matters. Building networks with other Black professionals creates space for support, mentorship, and collective advancement, helping us reclaim what systemic barriers have tried to take away. These insights aren't just theoretical, they're transforming how organizations approach diversity and inclusion. The University of Washington study helped frame the emotional tax language now widely cited in HR policy circles as an essential lens for understanding retention challenges facing talented professionals of color. This awareness has led some employers toward measurable changes like transparent promotion criteria and anti bias accountability systems institution wide. But organizational change is only part of the equation. Individual choices matter too. As Leanne Dolce, pronounced Dolce, like sweet softness whispered in French, reminds us on her powerful Soft Girl Era podcast, softness is not weakness, it's a radical act of self love. For Black women, especially, who have long carried the strong Black woman stereotype, embracing softness and authenticity can be revolutionary. The soft girl era isn't about aesthetics or trends, it's about a spiritual, emotional, and mental recalibration. It's about letting go of hustle as identity, learning to say no without guilt, setting boundaries without apology, resting without explanation, and embracing healing, wholeness, and emotional honesty. This movement resonates deeply with Garnett's message about authenticity in professional spaces. Both recognize that true strength comes not from conforming to others' expectations, but from honoring your own needs, values, and identity. So, where do we go from here? How do we move from understanding the emotional tax to actually reducing it? For organizations, it starts with creating cultures where authenticity is valued rather than penalized. This means going beyond diversity statements to examine how everyday interactions either support or undermine belonging. It means creating clear pathways for advancement that don't depend on cultural assimilation. And it means listening, really listening to the experiences of Black employees and entrepreneurs. For individuals navigating these spaces, it means finding the courage to bring more of yourself to work each day. It means building networks of support where you can be fully seen and heard. And it means recognizing that your unique perspective isn't a liability, it's an asset. I want to leave you with a challenge that goes beyond intellectual understanding to moral courage. The Black tax isn't just a problem for Black professionals to solve, it's a systemic failure that requires collective action to dismantle. If you're in a position of leadership, I challenge you to audit your organization, not just for representation, but for who gets to be authentic without penalty, who feels they must hide parts of themselves to succeed, who is carrying the emotional labor of educating others about diversity while simultaneously trying to advance their own career, and what concrete steps are you taking to redistribute that burden. If you're not in leadership, I challenge you to examine your own role in either perpetuating or dismantling these systems. Do you make space for different perspectives and communication styles? Do you recognize excellence in all its forms or only when it looks familiar to you? Are you willing to feel uncomfortable so that others don't have to carry that discomfort every day? The path to reducing the emotional tax begins with small acts of courage, moments when we choose authenticity over assimilation, community over isolation, and wholeness over fragmentation. But it culminates in a fundamental reimagining of what professional excellence looks like. Excellence should not require erasure. Success should not demand silence. Achievement should not cost authenticity. The conversation about Black excellence must evolve beyond resilience and achievement to acknowledge the invisible costs paid along the way. And in that acknowledgement, We find not just a more honest assessment of where we are, but a more hopeful vision of where we might go toward workplaces and businesses where excellence doesn't come at the expense of authenticity, but is fueled by it. The question isn't whether we can afford to create these spaces. The question is whether we can afford not to.